think I'm live. Am I? Who knows? It says I'm live on my other monitor. I must be live. Well, good. All right. Looks like everything's up and running properly. Nobody's even watching yet, so apparently I've completely fallen off the radar for some people already. Nah, it's all right. It's Saturday night. It's 8 o'clock, and I decided to stream for just a little while, maybe an hour or so, something like that. I don't know yet. Just for the sake of, I haven't really posted much this year at all. So here I am. Got at least a couple things that I can do while I'm streaming. Or one thing that I would like to do. We'll see if I actually make any progress with it. A couple people here already. Sam, Kale, and NW Productions. Hello to all you folks. Thank you for joining. Hope your Saturday is going well. It's been a normal Saturday for me. I was at work / Age of Steam today. And most everything. Oh, looks like my camera's gone. Hold on just a minute. Technical difficulties. Haven't live streamed in that. Now I'm back. Okay. Yep. See, haven't posted a video. Haven't live streamed in several months. This is what happens when I start to come back to it. Oh well. Stream. My webcam keeps going offline. What in the world is happening? Let me what in the world is happening with this? Let me try again. Is it going to work this time? Well, that doesn't look right. Try this again for like the 4th time. Okay, that looks better. Doesn't seem like I'm getting any screen tears. This is unfortunate. Completely not what I anticipated in trying to live stream this evening. I apologize for that. I guess that's what I get for being completely dormant on YouTube for like, I don't even know how many months, like 8 months, most of the year. Oh well. I think we're back. If anything else happens, hopefully it won't, but I'll do my best to sort it out. A stream from both me and Luke Triton today. Today is a good day. Well, glad I could add to that. Working on Potomac things while listening in. Excellent. And I am excited for the Potomac project. Got at least something that I can try and force myself to work on here. So I'm gonna move the stream over to my other monitor here and hopefully, oh, shoot, I'm opening up all the wrong programs on my computer, just trying to navigate and do anything. It's all gone horribly wrong already. Oh well. So as I was trying to say, I do have something at least that I can try to work on this evening. I haven't, to be completely honest, I just haven't had much motivation or desire to work on Lego very much this year. I've had things that I have wanted to do, but a lot of those things just haven't materialized. I'm going to switch things around here. Just a lot of those things haven't really materialized. And just haven't really done a lot of projects this year. Just kind of unfortunate because there are still a lot of Lego things that I want to do. It's just never within the last several months, just haven't had the motivation to sit down and do it. Just my interests have been elsewhere, which is not a bad thing. It's just having coming off of a year of 2022, having published my 060 number 12, a Berkshire, and number 19, coming off of a year like that, kind of feels like I should be doing a whole lot more than I have been, but haven't been doing very much at all, actually. Most of what I've been doing this year is limited to digital design work in studio and such like that. I have started at least on a couple of physical projects, just very small things. There's a flat car and there's a tank car over on my desk right now that needs some parts and needs some decals, but whatever. But no big projects this year. And I mean, I don't know when that'll come back yet. Just like I said, been interested in a whole bunch of other things. But a lot of other good things. I mean, I've been really busy, which is a blessing and a curse. Been doing a lot of other things this year, and it's been a lot of fun. Been enjoying my time. Been, yeah, just at the core, just really busy. As such, just Lego has taken a huge backseat to all the rest of that. Again, not a bad thing. It's just a kind of a shift. While I was waiting, I decided to see if Akinator knew who you were, and they didn't, so congratulations. Akinator now knows who I am. Well, that's cool. I'm sorry to say I don't know who that is. But I appreciate you spreading my name around, I suppose. Thank you, Sam. Battle 604, hello. Welcome to the stream. It's pretty chill, as you can see. There's hardly anybody here, but those of you who are watching, thank you. Hope you guys have been having a good week and weekend. I have been really enjoying my weekends recently. I try not to get into a mood of living for the weekend. I try to enjoy the rest of my life as much as I can. Enjoy work as much as I can, but sometimes it's just work, and sometimes I just don't want to do any work. So weekends are pretty nice, of course. Train King 79, how you going? How are you tonight? I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking. Hope you are too. Thank you for joining in. I'm trying to wrap my head around some things with a locomotive design that I've got in studio right now, and it's one that kind of came out of nowhere, and I can't even say why, because that would be revealing too much. But we'll see if I can work some things out with it. I had a pretty good starting point on this engine. I was fortunate to be able to have a starting point and jumping off point for the main body of this locomotive and kind of the main parts of it, which is of course always a very nice thing to have. Just sometimes filling on those gaps is a little bit more difficult. The AI thing, you ask questions, tries to get what you're thinking of based on your answers. Surprisingly hard to beat. Well, all right. I guess I'm known to the AI world now. Pretty soon I'll be replaced with AI, and the computers and everything will be able to design better locomotive and train models than I can. That would be something. Oh, what do I want to work on with this thing? Just a lot of things. And this is one of those kind of projects where it kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, I did not at all really expect to be working on this particular model right now. As I said, I really just haven't had that much motivation for Lego, and that extends into, of course, locomotive projects. I have a lot of locomotives that I would like to model. This one is the newest addition to that, so this one wasn't even planned out in advance. But just not having motivation to work on those projects is really annoying. So I'm trying to beat that a little bit tonight. So hopefully, hopefully I can. It would be really nice to have a model of this engine eventually. There are some really good reasons why I would like to have a model of this engine, of course, that I cannot reveal. I would also like to have other engines from this railroad. I bought a very good book, or what should be a very good book, about one of those kinds of engines recently. Sitting over there on my couch, and I'm like a couple pages into it, but it seems like it's going to be a good book. It's on the level of my Berkshires of the Nickel Plate Road book that I overwhelmingly enjoyed reading. Actually won first place ribbon for your Legos Railroad Steam Crane. Well, that's fantastic. Congratulations on that. Cranes are notoriously difficult to build. There's a lot of interesting little things that you have to work out with those, especially if you want to make them posable or do all of the rigging with them. There's a lot of interesting things to figure out. So congratulations to you. That's awesome. It reminds me, I think the Brick Train Awards are going on right now. I believe that is in progress. That's kind of exciting. Anybody have any plans to enter anything? I might. I probably will. Just to see, honestly. See if they get any traction. But who's to say if they'll actually win anything? There have been some really good entries this year already. Some really cool ones that I've already seen, and some other ones that I'm actually really looking forward to. One of my good friends, Nick, is actually working on a new model for that, which I'm really interested to see him complete because it's really cool. He did a fantastic job on it. Got my dimension drawings here in front of me. I printed one of these out. I was thankfully able to find one of these online and print it out such that I can use it and draw and write dimensions on it, or scale dimensions on it, which proves to be very useful. Sometimes you just cannot wrap your head around some things, and unfortunately this is one of those times. I can't even figure out what I want to do with this right now, which is unfortunate because the desire is there, the motivation is not. It's going to sound like a broken record by the end of the stream. What else is there that I can at least look at? There's always plenty of stuff that I've got. My studio files on my computer are extensive. I have way too many just random projects that I've either started and left off with, or whatever else. Ever thought about making a Lego adaptation of Susquehanna 142? Honestly, I can't say that I have. Is that? I believe that is one of the Chinese SY282s, is it not? One of the ones that was imported? Could be wrong. I don't know. So, as far as detail go, the whole top section was enclosed. You don't have to build in that many details. Oh, I mean, put the effort in and you got a blue ribbon, so that's pretty cool. Afternoon/evening to Mr. Techno Andrew himself. Glad to see you join. You're not missing much so far. These kind of streams are more of an easy way to update you guys on where I've been at the past several months, more than it is for me to get anything actually done with projects. One of those kind of things. Oh boy. Started streaming just at the right time to stop you from going to sleep. Well, don't let me do that. As much as I enjoy staying up on some evenings, I also really enjoy going to sleep on some evenings. Don't let me be the bad guy. But I'm glad you could make it out. I appreciate it. Good to hear from you again. I've always got every time I start doing model work, I always have at least one internet tab open with the corresponding Brass Trains model, or at least listings from brasstrains.com to help me along, essentially. And that's the case with this. So plenty to do. What I hate about Brass Trains, and I should be way better about this, but sometimes they will delete all but one image of a product listing. So I can't, so like in this case, I found a really nice, like painted, very presentable, very nice looking brass model of this engine that I'm looking at. But it's been from so however long ago that they've all deleted all but the one photo. So all I can see of the nice painted model is just the engineer's side, I'm sorry, the fireman's side of the engine and tender, which is really irritating. If I'm going to reference a brass model, I don't know why, it not necessarily doesn't make a difference, but I usually like for it to be painted. I don't know, maybe it really doesn't matter that much, but the other thing about this particular model is that there isn't really a good way to get good reference photos of any existing ones, which is also very unfortunate because that would help a lot. Doing specific modeling like that, it's always nice to have good pictures of the real thing. But unfortunately, I am not that fortunate at the moment. So here we are. But on the plus side, this is one of those kinds of things where I'm able to draw from a lot of the previous work on other engines that I've done and reuse some techniques and such to aid in my endeavors for this model, which is of course very nice. I'm one of those kind of people. I usually overwhelmingly prefer having a jumping off point when I build or model anything. I don't like starting from complete scratch as little as I can. I find it not annoying, just certainly not my preference to do that. And I'm just realizing now that the engineering drawing that I'm looking at does not perfectly match this model. But I would assume that the model is actually closer to the real thing. Oh, the kind of things you have to think about. I mean, the drawing is fantastic, and it's dimensioned in a lot of good ways. But if those dimensions don't actually match what I'm trying to build, then it's not very helpful, isn't it? So that's part of the everlasting challenge of model makers. Good reference material. It's difficult, man, I'm telling you. Not that I sometimes don't make it difficult on myself, but sometimes it just genuinely is difficult. Don't think you deserved first place. Both the locomotives I was going against better. Well, I mean, they picked yours, so. Competitions like that generally tend to be a little, trying to choose the right word, particular based on whatever the judges like. If it is a judged competition, certainly can be a little particular in that regard. Which can be a blessing and a curse. Sometimes you find that they really appreciate what you've done, what you've worked hard with, and sometimes it just doesn't hit as hard. I am struggling over here. Always the problem of trying to find good reference material. So the model is actually less accurate than I was hoping for, which is really irritating. Very irritating for sure. The sand dome is, I think it's a sand dome. Well, I know what a sand dome is, but I'm trying to figure out if the domes on the engine are closer together than they are in the model. So I'm trying to figure out if that's the sand dome is moved farther back or the steam dome is moved farther forward or some combination of those two things. So MacBricks is here. Hello to you, sir. Thank you for joining. When you see a model on Brass Trains that you want to reference, you download all the photos right away. See, if I was smart, I would do that. I've never claimed to be smart in my life. And also, this is a very out of nowhere interest. Well, not out of nowhere, but I just can't give you the reasons why I'm interested in this right now. To use Brass Trains to help you, it's a good reference. I mean, having good access, ready access to a plethora of brass models is certainly a very helpful thing to have. Of course, brass models tend to be pretty good. Not always, but tend to be pretty solid. Trying to find good profile images as best as I can, and that is proving to be quite the challenge. So, I think at least just looking off of comparing the photos that I'm seeing on my screen to the dimension drawing that I've got physically in front of me, the drawing seems to be correct compared to these photos. So I'm going to go with the drawing for now. Just really, I don't have the benefit of, okay, so that one tells me a slightly different story. What is going on? I hate this. I don't. It's just, I wish it was easy. There's a book that I would do very well to buy about these engines, and I just have not made that commitment yet, although I very much should. The book's series on these particular engines is quite good. I've actually got another book on these kinds of engines from several years ago, which I have consulted at great length. Probably be a very good idea to access that or to purchase one of those someday. because this is getting a little bit difficult. All right, so here's something interesting. I'm looking at a photo of the actual engine that I want to model, the specific number, and the sand dome seems to be moved farther forward compared to the drawing and compared to other locomotive images that I'm looking at. So this is interesting to say the least. Anyways, Horde reference material, I make every effort to. I'm not saying what model I'm working on. I can't. I can, but I would do very, very well not to, because there's good reasons why I'm interested in this, but I just cannot explain those reasons. Because it's not for me to. That's not information for me to say. But there's good reasons for it. There always are good reasons for it, of course. One or both of those moves during a boiler replacement. That's a good thought. I'm inclined to say no, however. Just looking at these photographs so far. Would just be seriously nice if I could walk right up to one of these engines and take photographs of them. All of the photos that I have seen of this engine, that's actually a pretty useful one, ironically. What timing. A lot of these photos have been taken from the same angle, which is nice because generally those photos are really good, like, three-quarter wedge shots, but not always the most useful for modeling reference, which is kind of annoying. Also kind of annoying when images pop up in a window that are like that big. What can you do? Finding front-on drawings of British stock can sometimes be tricky, can be very useful. Absolutely. I like to find seriously whatever else that I can, I can for reference material as much as I can. Just, sometimes I'm more lucky than other times. Now see, this is an idea. Can I expand this to like 99 times the size so I can reference it? That would be cool. An effortlessly cool locomotive for sure. I'm really, truly very interested in this in particular. Where did my photos go? There it is. That's not the photo I wanted. What am I doing? Have all of my computer skills just left me all of a sudden? It feels like it has. It's a terrible thing. Open this. Open a new tab. Of course, it's like 2 inches wide. Welcome to everybody joining. Last weekend, traveling behind an S160, try to post pic soon, reminded me of the kit we did a while back. I was thinking about that recently, actually. I would love to model another S160. I really would, honestly. I enjoyed every bit of that, and I really would someday love to do another S160, because I'd like to think I'm even smarter now. That's cool that you got to ride behind one. I would love to have that opportunity soon. Recently bought a 1999 Lionel Woody Woodpecker boxcar. That sounds. I'm gonna Google a picture of that right now, actually. I like it. I love the whim of some of the Lionel models from that time period. They're so funny. All right, so the good news is that looking at the photograph of the real engine from history does seem to match the model. So I think I can go with the model. At least I can use it more as a reference, which is it's a good thing. So we're on the right track, as they say. Assuming a modeling class of locomotives which hasn't been preserved, I wish I could tell you. It is hard to find good photos of it, that's for sure. The drawing is nice. Drawing doesn't match the real one, or at least as far as I can see in the photograph. Possible that this was updated or changed at some point, but this is the drawing that I have to work with, and so far it's been pretty good for measurements, as far as I can tell. So, all right, so I need to move the sand dome farther forward. It looks like it needs to be almost over the first driving wheel. So that means I need to do a couple of things here. Delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. I don't even know how I'm gonna shape this sand dome quite just yet. Farther back off of the, okay, that's probably going to be acceptable. Let's go with that for now. What do we think? Well, you guys don't have much an opinion on anything right now. just imagine just a peanut gallery off screen, just a yeah or no whenever I make a decision. That would be so annoying. Glenn sneaky project, very sneaky indeed. Yeah, I'm just one of those kinds of people. I don't like to talk much about what I've got in progress. I like to. Why did you do that? I like to uh, really publish completed things, which limits the amount of things that I can actually uh, post about in pretty much all occasions. But I mean, I just don't like posting work in progress stuff. Slope curved. Where is the part? Hello? Where is the... Why would that part not be... Why is that a wedge? Alright. That's stupid. Lego, you're stupid. Go home. I'm telling you, man. Sometimes half the challenge is just figuring out where stuff is categorized in this program. Absurd, I'm saying it. I don't even know if this is what I'm... I don't even know if I like that. I gotta fill the whole darn thing in to figure it out. Looks ridiculous with your post-war stuff, but I love it nonetheless. I'm glad you enjoy it. I think, like I said, I think those kinds of things that Lionel did are hilarious. Is this even the right shape? I'm going to say that it is. Where's the other? There's two versions of this. Well, there's two Brass Trains listings of this model that I have pulled up, and one of them is painted, one of them is not. Again, I just like looking at the painted ones for Really no reason other than just it looks nice. Where did I work before Age of Steam? Actually, Age of Steam is a part-time job for me. I work full-time during the week at a regular job. I don't know about this. It kind of stinks because I don't know what else I'm going to do here. Keep telling myself we'll surprise people with completed builds and us always end up posting work in progress. I'm such a hypocrite. I enjoy seeing people's work in progress photos, but I hate posting them. Just don't ever listen to anything that I say. Just a massive contradictions. I don't know if I like that shape for a sand dome. Have a logo in mind that you could surprise people with, maybe. It might be cool. Exactly what part you were referring to. Yeah, it's that, what does Brick call it? Wedge 2 by 1 by 2/3 right or left. Yeah, that part. I don't understand why that's a wedge. That should be a slope, like every day of the week. Go home, Lego. Still so much piping on this locomotive. Interestingly, it's not. I would not even say the amount of piping on this is close to even the Burke. I'd say it's actually pretty clean, which is kind of nice. It's got a very good look to it. It's just interesting to try and put together. There's I'm trying to build off of stuff that I've already done, but there's a lot of modification that still needs to go into it, and that always is just a challenge. Facts. Yeah, it's that curved slope that happens to have a corner bitten off. It's exactly the part. I don't like. Why is that a wedge? It's not. It's a curved slope. I don't get it. Tweetsy Railroader, welcome. Howdy to you, sir. Hope you're having a good Saturday. So there's a part of the turret casing that needs to be figured out. I don't know if I need to move that a half a plate down or what. 1, 2, 3, 4. See if I do that. That lines up, but that doesn't. Why gotta be so difficult? Why is it never easy? Seen a meme recently. It's we do these things not because they are easy, but because we thought they would be easy. Something like that. Yeah, that's definitely what I want. It's flush with the top of the cab, of course, just to make my life difficult. Finally lined my model of TT12 using Chartpak graphic tape. I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you were able to do that. Sounds pretty cool. Glad you were able to do that. Very nice. Is that a lamp behind me? That is a wax cube melter. It makes my apartment smell nice. My lighting setup is interesting. Yeah, it's called I Live Alone in an Apartment, and I have an extremely utilitarian style to a fault. That's what I call that. Technically, actually, right below it, that's my switch lamp that's silhouetted against the my kitchen island. Sat in a Bugatti today. That's pretty cool. I've never done that. I have seen one of the coolest cars. So this is completely off topic. One of the coolest cars that I've ever seen. I went. My dad and I once visited the Simeone Museum in near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, several years ago. And at the time, that particular day, they were exhibiting. I believe it was one of two, but it's a three-seater Ferrari that is shaped like the Ferrari. Like I think it's the 246 Dinos, but it's got three seats. So the driver sits in the middle. It's a really, really cool car, and it's literally one of two. And they had one there that day, and I was able to walk right up to it, that close to it. And it's a fascinating car. It's absolutely really cool. Reading E4A is sitting incomplete because you can't find any photos of the back head or the tender top. Emailed the Technical Authority Society twice, but they never answered. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully they do answer you. It is just the most disheartening thing in the world when you email people and that like that and hope for answers, but they just don't even reply. I mean, things happen, of course, but I can completely get where you're coming from. It's very unfortunate. I hope they do answer, and hope you're able to figure that out. Can I ask what you're building right now? I'm not going to tell you if you do ask. I think you joined on the later side, but I'm trying to build and design a locomotive right now that I'm certainly interested in, but I cannot disclose the reasons why I'm interested in it, because there's information related to that is not my place to discuss. It's wax burner, very nice. Yeah, it was. That just continues to be one of the best investments I've ever made. Ever had interesting cars comparable to yours in railroading? Absolutely not. I've certainly enjoyed cars. I actually have a deep affinity for the Ford Thunderbird, to the point where I used to, in my later years in high school, would sketch terrible sketches, but sketch concept cars that would basically be like a next generation Thunderbird, which I'm still hoping for one day. I would love for that to happen. But yeah, I've enjoyed cars to the point of just the design and just physical shape of the cars, just that, and developed a deep appreciation for that in high school and earlier parts of college. Then kind of moved away from that a little bit, just into different areas. And then of course I had my senior design project for college was participating in a Formula style race car build, which was tons and tons of fun. But I was forced to do that. Not that I didn't enjoy a lot of it, but I was forced to do that for a degree. So considering freelancing just to get the rest, just to get it finished, that does make sense, honestly. The Reading Camelbacks, I believe the E4A was a switcher as a Camelback. Honestly, you could probably just guesstimate it based on other other locomotives of similar type and design. Never modeled in brass, so that doesn't help you, unfortunately. Not that I can see anyways. Be nice if I could spell when I'm typing into Google. O80 Camelback switcher. I don't know if I've ever seen a photo of that. All right, I'm going on to Northeast Railfan real quick, because they have pretty decent amounts of photos for Well, what do you know? About that. Backhead or the top of the tender? Let me, which one are you modeling specifically? Are you modeling one with the square tender or one with the slope back tender? That is a really weird looking engine. That is a really weird looking engine. I'm looking through all the photos on northeastrailfan.net or northeast.railfan.net. Yeah, that is... Redding, what are you doing? You've enlightened me into Redding switcher territory that I never knew existed. This looks to be, if you're modeling one with the square tender, it looks to be a deep U in it, in the bunker. And then I would bet that you could probably go off of, I believe that there are Redding 280s on brass trains that you can look at to get ideas for what those tenders are like, because they look very similar just on eyesight. That would be my best bet. You could also do the same thing for the backhead. I mean, Redding, it's a Redding Camelback. It's going to be pretty similar to the other ones. I mean, the firebox might be physically larger, but it'll have the same basic, features. It'll have an elliptical shape fire hole and butterfly door, things like that. So hopefully that's helpful. You're welcome. I said hopefully that's helpful. And the instant I said that, it pops into the chat. Thank you so much for the help. You're welcome. Excuse me. Something at Age of Steam, I'm guessing. No. There's plenty more at Age of Steam that I would like to build, but not this. How would you fill a half plate gap right there? What am I even doing? That's not even in the right spot. I'm just going to remove that. Just making myself think too hard. Get out of here. Turret casing. Don't need to think about you right now. Thoughts on Southern 722's current restoration? I am excited to hear that. I don't have any real affinity for Southern 722. I have no legitimate connection to it, but it's a Southern engine. It's a consolidation. It has Southern valve gear. Go for it. I'm thumbs up from me. I hope they are able to do it. When they do, I will certainly make an effort if I can to get down there and ride behind it. That would be fantastic to see. So I'm all for it. Any Steam restoration like that, just, hey, we're going to do this. Okay, awesome. I hope you do. And that kind of sounded sarcastic, but I don't mean it to be sarcastic in the slightest. I support Steam restoration. It's plain and simple. Oh man. Sorry about that. Virtual Train Stuff is here. Good evening to you. Welcome to the stream. You haven't missed much. Like I mentioned, this is more of a check-in thing than for me. I am actively trying to work on something on Studio, but currently finding mixed success with it. Steam engines are difficult sometimes. but that's not necessarily news. Update that to 1x12 plate. Where is a 1x12 plate that I can snag? Nowhere, apparently. Awesome. That's one of my, like, excuse me. That's one of the things that I do to, like, to the point where it just doesn't make any sense. So I will spend like decent amounts of time like combing through a studio file to try and find um a part that's already in the model rather than comb through the model tree to try and find it. Like, I don't have a good reason for doing that. It's just I don't know, I'm lazy. This is a little bit better. Just gotta find some way to connect that. Legos are weird. I'll just tell you that right now. Legos are weird. I have to connect all of that on the inside with plates. That's going to be interesting. But seems like it's going to work. Out of nowhere, I've just decided to cough. I don't know why. I've been feeling fine all day. Come home, start streaming. Health goes downhill immediately. Things that I hate about brackets is you can never line them up properly. It's so irritating. Tips for making good steam locomotive slide valves that actually work. 3D print. That's what I do. I mean, I'm assuming that you're talking about just good valve gear, probably. I mean, I 3D print all of my stuff, so that's my best recommendation. Certainly not for everybody, but that's what I do. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. Which I apologize for that. If you wanted a better answer, I'm sorry I don't have one for you. Okay, that works, except for that sticks out a half a plate taller than I would like it to, but I don't necessarily have a choice here. Like I said, Legos are weird. What else can I do here? I need to put a 2x2 plate there. That's what I need to do. Where's one of those? There's one. Save before anything else happens. It's probably just me and my computer, but I've had to deal with a lot of crashes on Studio fairly recently, which has been, of course, really irritating when that does happen, because I often end up losing something. That's annoying. Here's the other thing is I can't quite tell if this locomotive boiler has a taper. It looks like it does, but it looks like it's pretty minor. Go back to the reference material. I think it's on the same lines as the New York Central Mohawk that I did, in that it's present, but not at all, not very noticeable. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I hope I'm not, because boiler tapers are annoying. Have to look at that more. Your layout has a 3.5% grade up to a mine. You want to haul 12 hoppers there with an ABBA set of RF-16s using Lego, using L motors and 1-1 gearing. You could probably do that. I mean, I hate grades with Lego. I like flat track, period. The layout that I would like to eventually build will be 100% flat track with clever changes in terrain to suggest elevation changes. But I do not want to put more stress on my locomotives and my motors than I need to. So I like flat track. Here's where that book would come in handy. If I had that book, I could look at the way better technical drawing that I'm looking at a very small scan of that's apparently 13 years old. And better assess whether or not I need to make more of an effort to taper the boiler. Because it kind of looks like I should, but that would be so much. That would be some challenging stuff. It was easy on the Burke because all I had to do was just raise the boiler up by a plate behind the sand dome. This is not going to be that easy. How can you calculate boiler size without the dimension on a drawing and the source material not being available, say a 462 Pacific? Eyeball it. I mean, I eyeball a lot of stuff on my models, more than you would expect. Boiler size does tend to be one of them sometimes. Sometimes I would say 98% of the time it looks fine. Sometimes it looks a little bit big, but those times, it still is okay. Like the boiler on my 10-wheeler, my Gray Ridge number 26 for a 10-wheeler is probably pretty big, but I explain that away because it's a freelance engine for one thing, but I say it's just a big 10-wheeler, which it is. It has 69-inch drivers. That's big. The other thing about it is that you generally, the bigger that you model a boiler, the easier it will be to build, and Lego boilers generally look a little bit better when they're a little bit too large in diameter. At least that is my experience. So this drawing that I have in front of me that I'm looking at gives me the outside diameter of the boiler in the largest course just in front of the firebox or the combustion chamber. And it gives me the inside diameter of the boiler just behind the smoke box. So, which is kind of helpful, but still not very. I mean, I just can't very easily tell. The other engine that actually has a diagram right above the one that I'm working on, the other engine that I would like to build from this railroad, does not have a tapered boiler that I can see, which is really nice. Wow, I would love to build both of those. So much desire, very little motivation still. Building Lego trains definitely tough. Super fun though. You are certainly correct, Danny, the Pennsylvania Railroad fan. Very true. It's the knowledge that comes with 16 years of experience. 15 or 16 years, which is a long time. I feel like I should try and taper this boiler somehow, but that's a whole can of worms that I don't know if I want to get into at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. At least not with this level of this much lack of motivation, unfortunately. Perhaps better left for another time. Time to go on brass trains and look at cool stuff. I'll have to get that book. I'm going to make it a point to do that sooner rather than later. Again, would be cool if I could spell. Yet to experience building a custom Lego train, it is certainly an experience. That's a good way to describe it. Because it can either be a lot of fun or it can be really, really irritating sometimes. A lot of times both. If I ever find a bunch of money that I just want to get rid of, I'm just going to spend it on brass trains. I think this is really weird. I'm looking at somebody's custom built brass locomotive. That's interesting. That's really weird. Sometimes brass trains has some really interesting things listed for sale. It's a whole rabbit hole I just literally cannot afford to go down. What's on the project list tonight? Scott Miller, glad you could join. Good to hear from you. Project list is something that I cannot give a reason for. And if I were to, I can't say what it is, because if I say what it is, I would have to explain why, and I can't explain why because of reasons. Maybe one day I can not be so secretive. Maybe. Plenty that I want to build. So little time. I always feel like I'm a terrible streamer. I'm a terrible content creator, that's for sure. Nobody wants to sit here and listen to me read books about trains, though. The day that Glenn isn't secretive is the day that Glenn starts liking the yellow bellies. Just brought back the yellow belly comment, hashtag TBT on a Saturday. That is probably the one thing that I'm going to be remembered for, is just not liking the yellow belly Hudsons. I still don't. Just open up a Brass Trains listing and it actually does have all of the photos still. That's cool. Where is the diagram that I had open? Where is that at? I think I closed it down. Why would I do that? Ugh, I hate myself. This one wasn't that. Darn it. Oh, that's okay. I don't know what I'm doing. When have I ever known what I'm doing? 51-inch diameter wheel on that Brass Guide section. If you'd want to look at more, that's true. I do often consult Brass Guide in addition to BrassTrains.com. Often very useful as well. 136, it's that. Never knew that difference between those engines. Interesting. And then that. And now I'm looking at something completely different than what I actually started working on this evening. Get distracted easily, I guess. I always find it interesting to look at the dimensional differences between two engines of the same class. So the book, one of the books that I've gotten recently is, so the engine that I was trying to work on in studio tonight is from One Railroad. One of the books that I've gotten recently is of engines from the same railroad but different engines. And I'm currently looking at diagrams for the engines that are discussed in the book. So my mind is on the same railroad but two different engines. Both of them would be really cool. It's just A lot of desire, little motivation, unfortunately. I've been putting a lot of effort into other things recently. Um, One of those things is railroad uniforms, which has been a lot of fun. I recently acquired, semi-recently at least, I have a coat rack over here. I bought, if anybody's familiar with Chris LaRose, is the guy that makes, I can try and do this without losing my seat because it's on ball bearing casters. Chris LaRose makes the wonderful homemade, but like handmade is the word that I'm trying to think of. Hats of several different styles. You can get them custom made to your measurement and custom specified with your preference in material and stitching and all of that. This is the Hickory Eastern Standard style. Recently, I got the Thompson style chore coat from Chris LaRose, and I have enjoyed having this substantially. This is a seriously cool coat. It's awesome. I love having this. Of course, the Hickory Eastern Standard basically matches, so that was really cool to get. It's one of the different kind of sub hobbies that I never expected to enjoy so much, but I certainly do. Pennsylvania Railroad conductor's cap with a conductor badge. Of course, pretty neat. Then the rest of my uniform stuff is tucked away in my closet right now, but recently acquired some pretty cool pieces there that I like to continue on with someday. That's where my interest has been recently, is more of that than anything else. So that's why haven't been doing much Lego as much as I would like to. It's just not. I'm not going to force myself to do it. I mean, again, there's plenty of desire. It's just the want is so low by comparison, or the motivation is so low, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I'm not going to force it. You think BMR could come out with different instructions that are just different trucks, leading, trailing trucks, car trucks, diesel trucks? That would be really specific. That would also be a question for BMR. I certainly see the appeal in that. It would just be a very difficult set of instructions to put together because, well, if you're talking about like leading trucks and trailing trucks, that would be pretty difficult because that gets to, you're looking at one model versus another, one locomotive versus another, and all of those details will always be different. So it would be very hard to produce a good set of instructions to detail the differences on potentially even like half a dozen different models like that. Although I do see the appeal. Diesel trucks and car trucks, again, kind of same thing. They tend to be a lot easier in some cases because they're more visible than like a steam engine trailing truck, at least on the inside, trailer truck or pilot truck. You can at least a little bit more easily reverse engineer those just from photographs. If you, if somebody has posted decent photographs of a truck like that that you're wanting to reproduce, that would be my suggestion for that. Again, though, I do see the appeal. probably will stream for another 15 minutes or so. Again, if you joined this, I apologize. It's been a really boring one. Haven't done much. But hopefully you have enjoyed it, at least in some part. Felt like streaming tonight, just kind of catch up on where I've been outside of YouTube, of course, because like I mentioned, I haven't posted this year and just been really busy. A lot of my time has, of course, been spent at Age of Steam on Saturdays and things like that, guiding tours and such. Doing a lot of traveling this year in particular. All over the place, really. I've been traveling down south to visit family. Been traveling to visit friends over a couple different weekends. Traveling for train stuff, of course. Been involved with car hosting for the Fort Wayne Road Historical Society and the Indiana Northeastern trips. That's been a lot of fun. Planning to at least do that one more time this year. Got several trips coming up actually between now and the end of the year. 2 weeks from now, I'll be riding behind a steam locomotive. 2 weeks after that, I'll be riding behind a different steam locomotive. I'm really looking forward to both of those. I would like to make at least some video of both of those trips. Hopefully I'll be able to do that, but I'm not going to force myself to keep a camera in front of my face the whole time so I can actually enjoy the trip. But I'll try to take some video of it just because it'll be a lot of fun. Both of those trips I'm going with friends to do 2 different rides, and both of those trips will be behind steam locomotives. One of which I've actually never ridden behind before. And both of those trips will be in pretty decent seating. Went the extra mile to get decent tickets in really nice passenger cars this time around for both of those trips, actually. So I'm really looking forward to that. Should be a whole lot of fun. Been good to watch while designing a Lego. I'm assuming that's either Canadian Pacific or Central Pacific 440. It's always cool. I do enjoy me some Central Pacific and Canadian Pacific. Always get some tidbits of useful information from these streams. Glad to hear that. I offer what I can. Listening to Glenn's struggles with building makes me feel better about my own building struggles. Yeah, I've been having a lot of those recently, so you should be feeling pretty good. I've been making some improvements to your freelance RS2 inspired switcher. Good to hear. Improvements are always nice. For sure. Just send a text message. Yeah, like I said, been having plenty of building struggles recently, so whoever's finding it easier to deal with their struggles by listening to mine, you should be feeling pretty good right now. Canadian Pacific, 50-50 shot. Doing one of the number 29 since used to operate nearby in the late. Really nice. I'm going to Google a picture of that now because I don't know if I can place that one just. Oh, it's a nice little engine. I like that a lot. Very classic looking. Best of luck with that. July, me and my mom rode the New Hope Railroad as a annual birthday trip. That sounds awesome. I used to live not terribly far away from the New Hope and Ivyland, and I never rode behind it. So glad you were able to. Number 40 is a nice little engine, nice little consolidation. It's hard to argue with consolidations in preservation. Unsung heroes of preservation and tourist railroads and everything like that. Anybody else got any really cool projects that they're working on recently? I mean, I don't have a whole lot, but I mean, a flat car. It's basically an updated version of the BMR flat car, using the new 2x6 wedges. Extremely low profile. I mean, this is literally 4 studs tall from bottom to top, including the flanges. So it's like 3.8 bricks from the railhead to the deck. So this was quite a challenge. Really cool flat car though. I'm glad to kind of have my own model of it. Not that the BMR car is bad, but just like doing my own thing sometimes. A tank car, just nothing abnormal. Nothing groundbreaking or new, just a couple extra freight cars. Just decided to purchase parts for them earlier this year, and they're not even done. I've had them sitting on my desk for quite a while now, which is nobody's fault but my own, but again, just the interest has been in other places. Still slowly struggling with your Texas New Orleans 462701. Probably just going to make SD40-2s based off the BMR instructions. I mean, you can't go wrong with those. Those instructions are pretty awesome. One of your friends wants to build an 8-wide K27 to run on narrow gauge track. He's worried about stability. He's trying to design hidden spring-loaded stabilizer wheels built into the cylinders. I mean, that sounds like overkill. I don't think that I certainly wouldn't be worrying about stability. If I was building on that Lego narrow gauge track, though, I would be modeling 2-foot gauge, because my theory is that Lego's standard gauge is standard gauge, the Lego's narrow gauge is 2-foot gauge, then the 3-foot gauge would be right between those two. So on the narrow gauge of Lego, you move the rail in 2 studs. On 3-foot gauge, you would move it in 1 stud. But that doesn't exist right now, unfortunately. But it should, and that would make Lego 3-foot gauge so much easier to build, because your trains would be 7 wide at that point. So if you build 9 wide locomotives and cars for standard gauge, 9 or 8 wide, 9 wide locomotives, 8 wide cars, the 7 wide cars of a 3-foot gauge would make a lot more sense visually. I won't take no for an answer. That's cool. I'm all for interesting dives into narrow gauge like that. Grown a new appreciation for narrow gauge, of course, after watching more and more videos from Heiss or Mark Huber, of course. Love every bit of his content. Had the fortunate opportunity to meet the man himself earlier this year on the East Broad Top. That's another video. Actually, that's a video that I made that I haven't actually posted. I've edited the video together. My trip to the East Broad Top earlier this year, and I just never uploaded it or posted it. It's like a half hour long. I really ought to upload that. Maybe I'll do that here next week or so. Yeah, I met Mark at East Broad Top. and recently saw him again at Age of Steam and helped him film a video at Age of Steam, and will be in that video when he decides to that it's ready to upload. It's currently in its review process with the folks at Age of Steam to make sure that it's acceptable for them, which hopefully it will be. Mark does good work, so hopefully that hopefully they will like it. And then whenever it's ready, post it, and I'll go down in history as a guest on a heist video. Glenn's unified theory of narrow gauge is correct. I'm glad you agree, because it is correct. Unless you're building K36s and 37s just as wide as standard gauge engines, that's true. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think Heiss once said that at the cylinders, a K37 is like an inch or so wider than a big boy, or something like that, which is crazy to think about. Those narrow gauge Mikados really are something, aren't they? Unified theory of narrow gauge. Just we need to spend the time to develop that track system. Once we do that, everything else will fall into place. Hopefully. Amazing how many so many of them survive scrapping. I certainly agree. I think that that's one of the coolest things about Colorado narrow gauge, is that you have so many extant examples of motive power. You have most of the bigger Ks. I mean, you have a good number of 36s and 37s. You have two 27s, which is pretty cool, which is really nice. Personal favorites of the Mud Hens. I love those engines. 463 is like my favorite narrow gauge engine. Then you got like the other stuff like the C19s. You got like the what was it, the T16s, which is what RGS 20 is, I think. Then the T12s, 168. I mean, and that's the stuff that runs. I mean, then you got all the park engines and stuff like that. You have like the CNS narrow gauge moguls and stuff like that. I mean, there's plenty of it around there. It's incredible. If I lived in Colorado, I know what I'd be modeling. Probably, but I don't live in Colorado. Ironically, I'm wearing a Breck shirt from when I skied Breckenridge several years ago. So I was in literally the heart of narrow gauge territory, and just unfortunately didn't have the time on that trip. But I was literally between Denver and Breckenridge, Colorado. So I mean, that's part of the heart of narrow gauge. It's kind of in, I think, what would that be? Denver, South Park, and Pacific Territory, or close to that. The absurdities that are the Uinta 50 and 51. Those are the big Malways, I think. Yeah, those are really weird. Cool stuff, though. Oh, man. Well, I'm sorry to say, folks, but I think I've reached my limit for streaming. I feel like I'm kind of dragging on right now. I didn't get hardly anything done in studio that I was hoping for. Not that I really expected to, but just, like I've said already for the umpteenth time, high desire, low motivation, unfortunately. And something like that is something that I do not like to force. I don't want to force myself to be creative. I don't want to force myself to work on something if I'm just not feeling it. Unfortunately, tonight I am just not feeling it. I wish it were different, but maybe that'll change soon. I hope it does. Just like I said, been focusing my energy on other things right now, other new areas of historic rail and preservation that I just haven't expected. One of which is the railway uniform thing. I overwhelmingly enjoyed doing that. And of course, volunteering my time with Fort Wayne, doing the Age of Steam, of course, just more of the usual there. But takes a lot of time out of my weeks, out of my days, and leaves me with the downtime that I do have. I tend to want to not do very much at all. So it means that I don't spend a lot of brain power trying to figure out Lego models as much as I would like to. Again, there are still a lot of things that I would like to do with Lego that I just haven't gotten around to yet. There are new projects that I would like to do that I come up with or figure out, every so often, like this engine that I've got in studio over here that I didn't make much progress on tonight. Came out of nowhere just within the last month and a half or so, and it's just really interesting locomotives. The ones that I have the books on, or the book on, that would like to start reading more of. It's all there. It's just putting focus into other areas of life right now, and a lot of that comes to, like I said, I've been traveling a lot. There's also actually a lot of family events and family things that I have going on this year, which are all good things. I mean, not like I'm not, going to family funerals or anything like that. Heaven forbid. Certainly not the case, but just a lot of other things that have required my time, required a lot of energy and a lot of brain power. So I tend to uh, take the downtime that I do have a little bit more seriously and not spend it, slaving away over Lego models. But there's nothing wrong with that. I'm confident that I'll come back to Lego in full force at some point. It's just I don't know when that's going to be. Um, and that is kind of part of what I wanted to talk about with the stream, is because obviously um, I don't post a lot. Like is very obvious. I don't post work in progress much of anything at all. So it's hard to tell um, if I am working on something. And so that's what this kind of stream is part of what I wanted just to talk about at least a little bit, is that I don't really have a whole lot going on right now for Lego, for those reasons that I mentioned. Just so if you're expecting something amazing out of from me within the next few months, I wouldn't, unless something drastic happens, which it might. But I've got so many other things to not worry about, but other things to focus my time and attention on. Certainly now through the end of the year. Maybe once the new year rolls around, I'll be able to readjust a little bit and kind of refocus that energy. But for now, I'm still certainly enjoying what I'm doing. I mean, I've been able to put a lot of effort into things that I have always wanted to do for the vast majority of my life, and I can't. Uh, I mean, who am I to complain about being able to do that? I mean, this is literally stuff that I've always wanted to do. So I'm glad that I've had the opportunity. I'm certainly have been doing my best to take advantage of those opportunities wherever I can. So just unfortunately for my YouTube channel, my subscribers, all of you folks that are watching my stream, the people who enjoy seeing me build Lego models, it just means that I don't have a whole lot to show in that area right now. And that's really just the reality of it for the time being. Like I said, I'm very hopeful that that'll change, because I do have a lot of things that I would like to do. But for right now, it's you know, just kind of not the case. So, but hopefully that does provide at least a little bit of context. I mean, we waited till the end of the stream to kind of put all of that together. So if you're watching this as a stream recording, I apologize for that. Like I said, I don't think this was a particularly good stream, but I'm glad to at least get that out there, just so those people that do watch my content and keep coming back to my channel for more, at least kind of know what the deal is. But maybe that'll change one day, and I certainly hope it does. But all's good from me. I've got pretty good things going right now in life. In a pretty good place right now. Can't complain too much, and I'm blessed to be able to say that. Got a lot of cool things on the horizon, um, and continuing on with even other other things as well. So that's a good report, I would say. Having to say that I haven't built a whole lot of Lego models this year is not so bad when I consider that life is still going pretty good. So that's not so bad. But anyways, I can stop rambling now for one thing and start to wrap up my stream and probably go sit down in my chair over there and start reading that book until I fall asleep. So hope you guys have enjoyed what you could of this stream. I really appreciate the support as always. I know that a lot of people appreciate what I do, and I'm always very thankful of that. I'm always very mindful of people are interested in me, so it's nice for them to. It's nice to be able to provide some context into what's going on. So, thank you for your continued support. It's always really nice to see that. Of course, hope you guys are all doing well. As personable as personal as I can get in a live stream in which I'm talking at you, and you're only responding through comments. But hope you guys are all doing well. Sometimes things can get pretty weird and difficult. 2023 has been an interesting year for sure for me in a number of different ways, but more good than bad, I have to say. Um, hopefully, you guys can relate. Hope you guys are doing well. But I guess I'll leave it there for now. Once again, thank you all very much for watching. I guess I'll leave this up on my channel just in case anybody wants to come back to it in the future. And maybe we'll see in the future if I've got another model to show off or something like that. So, but that remains to be seen. Hopefully one day. But I'll leave it there for now. Thanks everybody once again for your support. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your weekend. And good night, I suppose. Take care.